Number 1. Julius Caesar was kidnapped by pirates and took revenge in the most spectacular way. You might think that the most famous Roman of all time would be safe from harassment, but far from it. When Julius Caesar was still a young, ambitious man, he was kidnapped by pirates. When the pirates demanded 20 talents of silver as ransom, Caesar laughed in their faces and said, "Seriously? I am worth at least 50 talents." Yes, this man negotiated the price of his own ransom upward because he considered it beneath his dignity to be sold cheaply. While waiting for his friends to pay the ransom, Caesar acted as if he were the boss. He wrote poems and recited them to the pirates, and if the applause wasn't loud enough, he insulted them for having no taste. The whole time, he kept telling them, "I will crucify you when I get out of here." They thought he was joking. Spoiler, he wasn't. After the ransom was paid and Caesar was released, he assembled a fleet, hunted down the pirates, and had them crucified. However, he showed mercy by slitting their throats beforehand. That was Caesar's way of saying, "Don't kidnap me again, you absolutely incompetent amateurs." Number 2. The Great Emu War. Do you know what's more terrifying than enemy soldiers? Very big birds. In 1932, Australia was overrun by an army of emus. These giant flightless birds caused massive damage to the fields in Western Australia, and the farmers begged the government to do something. The solution? Declare war on the emus. The military sent soldiers armed with machine guns to solve the bird problem, but it turned out that emus are astonishingly good at dodging bullets. After several failed ambushes and thousands of bullets fired, the military only managed to kill about 1,000 emus out of a total population of 20,000. The emus were declared the victors, and the Australian government retreated in shame. Number 3. Napoleon was attacked by a horde of rabbits. During a break from his conquest, Napoleon organized a rabbit hunt for his men. His staff gathered hundreds of rabbits for the event. However, instead of wild rabbits, they accidentally brought tame ones. So when the hunt began, the rabbits did not flee in fear. Instead, they saw the humans as their providers and rushed toward them, presumably assuming it was feeding time. The emperor had to retreat to his carriage, and even then, the rabbits tried to climb inside. Number 4. The Eiffel Tower was almost sold by a con artist, and not just once. We're staying in France, but switching eras. The Eiffel Tower is one of the most famous landmarks in the world, but did you know it was almost sold for scrap metal? In 1925, a man named Victor Lustig posed as a government official and convinced scrap dealers that the Eiffel Tower was too expensive to maintain and had to be dismantled. Lustig successfully sold the tower to a dealer, took the money, and disappeared. The buyer was so embarrassed that he didn't report the scam to the police. Lustig was so encouraged by his success that he returned to Paris a few years later and tried to pull off the same scam again. Unfortunately for him, he wasn't so lucky the second time, but you have to admire his ambition. Number 5. The USA accidentally bombed Canada multiple times. The first incident occurred during World War II when an American B-25 bomber dropped bombs over Canadian territory during a training exercise. The reason? A navigation error. But hey, everyone makes mistakes, right? However, it happened again during the Cold War. In 1950, a US bomber accidentally dropped an atomic bomb, yes, you heard that right, an atomic bomb, over northern British Columbia. Fortunately, it had not yet been loaded with plutonium, but the explosion of the uranium it did contain still caused damage and spread radioactive material. Number 6. The marathon at the 1904 Olympic Games was a complete disaster. For one, the race took place during the hottest part of the day in scorching heat on dusty roads and with only a single water station along the route. The winner, Thomas Hicks, crossed the finish line thanks to a deadly cocktail of raw egg whites, rat poison, and brandy, which his trainers gave him to keep him running. One runner, Fred Laws, cheated by getting a ride in a car for most of the race. He crossed the finish line first, waved to the crowd, and almost got away with it until someone exposed him. Another runner, Felix Carvajal, stopped mid-race to eat some rotten apples, which made him seriously ill. Nevertheless, he still managed to finish in 4th place. Oh, and then there were the wild dogs that chased one of the runners off the course. Number 7. The Roman Emperor Caligula declared war on the ocean. Caligula, the notorious Roman emperor, was known for being completely unhinged, like the time he planned to make his own horse a senator. But one of his strangest moments was definitely when he declared war on the sea god Neptune. According to historical reports, Caligula ordered his soldiers to march to the shore and attack the waves with their swords. After the war, he commanded his men to collect seashells as war spoils. It is unclear whether this was meant as some bizarre joke or if Caligula genuinely believed he had defeated the ocean. Number 8. A war was fought over a bucket. In the year 1325, two Italian city-states, Modena and Bologna, went to war over, wait for it, a bucket. According to legend, some Modenese soldiers sneaked into Bologna and stole a wooden bucket from a well. This small theft escalated into a full-scale war that lasted 12 years and claimed thousands of lives. Modena ultimately won, and to this day, the infamous bucket is displayed in Modena as a trophy of their absurd victory. Number 9. There is a town in Norway where dying is forbidden. The town of Longyearbyen in Norway has an unusual rule. It is forbidden to die there. Why? Because it is so cold that corpses do not decompose properly, posing a health risk. The cemetery stopped accepting new burials in the 1950s. If someone is terminally ill or near death, they are taken to another town to spend their final days. So if you ever visit Longyearbyen, make sure to stay alive, or you risk being thrown out in your final moments. Number 10. The Dancing Plague of 1518. In the summer of 1518, a woman in Strasbourg suddenly began dancing uncontrollably in the street. Within a few days, dozens of people had joined in, and within a month, the number of dancers had grown to 400. People danced non-stop for days, and according to reports, many died from exhaustion, heart attacks, or strokes. The local authorities were baffled and decided that the best solution was even more dancing. They hired musicians and cleared spaces for the dancers, hoping they would eventually tire themselves out. To this day, historians are unsure of what caused the plague. Some suspect some sort of grain poisoning, while others believe it was mass hysteria. Thanks for watching. See the video on your screen? Well, YouTube thinks this one might interest you as well, so go ahead and check it out if you like.